From cellular biology to artificial intelligence, self-replication is a phenomenon that describes the ability of a system to duplicate itself. This is observed in the process of cell division, where DNA replicates itself to pass on to the next generation. This behavior is also evident in harmful biological viruses and prions that use host systems for their replication. In the realm of technology, both computer and robotic systems incorporate self-replication, an area that holds the attention of scientific research and science fiction enthusiasts alike. However, imperfections in this process often give rise to mutations or variants of the original, thereby inducing a form of natural selection among these variants. Early studies by John von Neumann detail the necessary components involved in a replicator. Although typically, replicators rely on external mechanisms for copying, some advancements suggest RNA may be able to self-replicate. Yet these currently fall under assisted replication rather than pure self-replication. In the evolution of life, it's theorized that a molecule similar to a double-stranded polynucleotide may have been the first self-replicator. However, the simplest case could merely be a genome. But without specific reproduction steps, a genome-only system might be similar to a crystal. This fundamental feature of life initiates a sort of survival of the fittest contest among various replicating sequences, thus promoting natural selection. Replication, despite being largely inaccurate in early life forms, profoundly influenced the development of life. It affected key aspects like stability and genome replication. Furthermore, it's been proposed that this development of order in living systems might be an underlying principle that also applies to the physical world. Research has started classifying replicators based on the level of support they require for replication, with natural replicators requiring non-human interventions. The concept of self-replicating systems revolves around the idea of systems creating duplicates of themselves from industrial resources such as wires and metal bars. Self-assembling systems work in a similar way, but they make use of completed parts to produce copies of themselves. While these concepts might sound complex, simpler examples of such systems have been showcased on a larger scale. The potential design spectrum for these machine duplicators is vast. A detailed evaluation conducted by Robert Freitas and Ralph Merkle categorized 137 design aspects into 12 distinct categories. These include factors related to replication control, replication information, replication substrate, replicator structure, passive parts, active subunits, replicator energetics, replicator kinematics, replicator kinetics, replicator performance, product structure, and evolvability. In the realm of computer science, a self-reproducing computer program or a quine can generate its own code when executed. One instance of this can be seen in the Python programming language. A more streamlined approach to this idea is to create a program which duplicates any data stream directed at it and directed towards itself. This technique is often found in most self-replicating systems, including the processes of biological life. In the field of geometrical patterns, a self-replicating tiling pattern is one where multiple tiles with identical shape can be arranged together to form a larger tile similar to the original. This field of study, known as tessellation, has interesting examples such as the Sphinx Hexaemon in 2012. Lee Sallows identified these as a unique case of a self-tilling tile set, or a Sidis. In nature, self-replication can occur in clay crystals without the intervention of DNA or RNA. These crystals, which form the structure of clay, have the ability to grow under ideal conditions. Any irregularities in the atomic structure of these crystals can propagate and create a form of self-replication. Furthermore, these irregularities could potentially influence the probability of a crystal fragmenting to initiate new crystal formations, a process analogous to evolutionary development. A recent NASA study has equated the intricacy of a clanking replicator to that of Intel's Pentium 4 CPU, suggesting it is a viable concept to explore with a modest team of engineers within a manageable time frame and budget. This research is valuable given the current widespread interest in biotechnology and the generous resources being invested in this field, particularly looking at exploiting the reproductive capacity of cells, which potentially could lead to considerable scientific breakthroughs. The story also highlights a variant of self-replication which is essential in compiler construction. During compiler development, the application of a compiler on its own source code yields the compiler itself. However, unlike natural self-replication, this methodology is orchestrated by an engineer. In the robotic industry, self-replication is gaining interest with robots predicted to have error-correcting capabilities in the offspring. Self-replication on a nanoscale is also being investigated for future assemblers, causing rumblings within science fiction circles about potential gray goo apocalyptic scenarios. The Foresight Institute has established guidelines for researchers delving into mechanical self-replication, suggesting the use of essential techniques to ensure control over replicators. Other disciplines such as biology, chemistry, and biochemistry have been studied for a better understanding of organismal, cellular, and molecular self-replication. As of early 2021, unlimited in vitro ribosomal self-replication had yet to be achieved, but nanotechnology continues to explore possibilities within nanoscale assemblers. Without self-replication, the capital and assembly costs of these molecular machines become dauntingly large. NASA has also supported design studies aimed at developing self-replicating technologies for space resource mining. The concept of memetics, introduced by Richard Dawkins in his 1976 book, The Selfish Gene, suggests the idea of a meme as a unit of behavior that's copied from one mind to another through observation. Memes propagate analogous to information viruses, often being described as viral. In the realm of parallel computing, it can be quite burdensome to load new software onto each node of an expansive computer cluster or distributed computing system. A solution is present in the form of mobile agents that can autonomously replicate the code from node to node, saving an immense amount of time for system administrators, however. There resides a risk as well, since if implemented improperly, these mobile agents have the capacity to crash the computer cluster. One of the main objectives of self-replication within space systems is to harness vast quantities of matter using a bare minimum launch mass. Consider, for instance, an autotrophic self-replicating machine that could blanket a moon or a planet with solar cells, transmitting power back to Earth through the use of microwaves once established. This machine could generate raw materials and manufactured goods on its own, including transportation systems for exporting these products. There also exists a model of self-replicating machines that could make copies of themselves across the galaxy and universe, streaming back valuable data. Due to their autotrophic nature, meaning they don't require human input to replicate, these systems are recognized as the most challenging and complex replicators known yet. This significant independence also makes them potentially more harmful. A prominent theoretical examination of replicators in space is Robert Freitas's 1980 NASA study on autotrophic clanking replicators, which largely focused on designing a versatile, simple chemical system to handle lunar regolith. The study evaluated the discrepancy between elements required by the replicator and elements available in regolith, identifying chlorine, product necessary to process regolith to aluminum, as the restricting element. Achieving faster replication was guaranteed by importing modest amounts of chlorine, bolstering its rarity in lunar regolith. The design blueprint proposed small, computer-controlled electric trucks running on tracks. Each of these trucks, in essence a basic robot, would either be equipped with a single manipulator or a small excavator shovel. Powering the system would be made possible by a canopy of solar cells. A casting robot would use a robotic arm, equipped with a number of sculpting tools to fabricate plaster molds. These molds, easy to create and yielding precise parts with smooth finishes, cast most of the parts from non-conductive molten rock or purified metals in an electric oven. Although a more complex chip factory was proposed in the design to manufacture computer and electronic systems, the team suggested shipping the chips from Earth as a practical alternative. Among nanotechnology researchers, the belief is held that their realm will not mature until a self-replicating assembler of nanometer dimensions is designed by humans, which is significantly simpler than autotrophic systems, since these are given purified feedstocks and energy, relieving them of the need to reproduce them. This difference stands at the heart of ongoing debate, questioning the possibility of molecular manufacturing. Critics refer to the complexity of self-replicating autotrophic systems as their argument, while proponents lean on the demonstrated capacities of substantially simpler self-assembling systems. Meanwhile, in 2003, an autonomous robot that could follow a preset path and assemble an exact duplicate of itself was demonstrated, signaling continued advancements in the field. The development of an advanced, rational design for a completely new replicator capable of a broader range of synthesis capabilities is the order of the day. Back in 2011, scientists from New York University made considerable strides in this direction by developing artificial structures having the power to self-replicate. This process holds the promise of creating new kinds of materials. The researchers showcased that replication is not exclusive to molecules like DNA or RNA in cells, but can potentially extend to discrete structures. These structures could presumably take on a variety of shapes, possess numerous functional features, and associate with diverse chemical species. For more information on the chemical basis for these potential self-replicating systems, refer to the topic of alternative biochemistry.